So we're reading Canto 5, Chapter 19, Text 14. Yathaihi kamushmika kamalampata suteshu dareshu dhaneshu chintayan Shanketa vidvan kukalevaratayad Yasasya yatna shrama eva kevalam Yatha, as Aihika, in the present life, Amushmika, in the expected future life, Kamalampataha, a person who is very attached to lusty desires for bodily enjoyment. Suteshu, children. Dareshu, wife. Dhaneshu, wealth. Chintayan, thinking about. Shanketa, is afraid. Vidvan, a person advanced in spiritual knowledge. Kukalevara, of this body, which is full of stool and urine. Atyayat, because of loss. Yaha, anyone. Tasya, his. Yatnaha, endeavors. Shramaha, a waste of time and energy. Eva, certainly. Kevalam, only. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravindha Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: materialists are generally very attached to their present bodily comforts and to the bodily comforts they expect in the future. Therefore, they are always absorbed in thoughts of their wives, children, and wealth, and are afraid of giving up their bodies, which are full of stool and urine. If a person engaged in Krishna consciousness, however, is also afraid of giving up his body, what is the use of his having labored to study the Shastras? It was simply a waste of time. Please repeat after me. Materialists are generally very attached to their present bodily comforts and to the bodily comforts they expect in the future. Therefore, they are always absorbed in thoughts of their wives, children, and wealth, and are afraid of giving up their bodies, which are full of stool and urine. If a person engaged in Krishna consciousness, however, is also afraid of giving up his body, what is the use of his having labored to study the Shastras? It was simply a waste of time. Purport. At the time of death, a materialist thinks of his wife and children. He is absorbed in thinking of how they will live and who will take care of them after he leaves. Consequently, he is never prepared to give up his body. Rather, he wants to continue to live in his body to serve his society, family, friends, and so on. Therefore, by practicing the mystic yoga system, one must become detached from bodily relationships. If despite practicing bhakti yoga and studying all the Vedic literature, one is afraid of giving up his bad body, which is the cause of all his suffering, what is the use of his attempts to advance in spiritual life? The secret of success in practicing yoga is to become free from bodily attachments. Srila Narottam Das Thakur says, Deha smriti nahi jar, samsara bandhana kahatar. One whose practice has freed him from the anxieties of bodily needs is no longer in conditional life. Such a person is freed from conditional bondage. A person in Krishna consciousness must fully discharge his devotional duties without material attachment. Then his liberation is guaranteed. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So thank you very much for joining us in the Srimad Bhagavatam discussion this morning. So once again we are discussing Canto 5, Chapter 19, Text 14. Let's read the translation once again. Materialists are generally very attached to their present bodily comforts and to the bodily comforts they expect in the future. Therefore they are always absorbed in thoughts of their wives, children and wealth, and are afraid of giving up their bodies which are full of stool and urine. If a person engaged in Krishna consciousness, however, is also afraid of giving up his body, what is the use of his having labored to study the Shastras? It was simply a waste of time. So this is a very important verse. This is quoted several times in the lectures. So this is actually explaining how one can very easily get distracted when one considers material happiness as the aim of life. Therefore, the injunction is that we should not. Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan Jagannath Balav Shri Bhadra Gauranitai Prahlad Narsimha Guru Parampara Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So therefore, it is recommended, the injunction is that one should never consider material enjoyment as the aim of life. When we do that, we just get washed away with the waves of sense gratification, and it is never ending. Kamasya na indriya priti labho jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jignasa nartho yascheha karmabhihi. Life's desires should never be directed toward sense gratification. One should desire only a healthy life for self-preservation, since a human being is meant for inquiry about the absolute truth. Nothing else should be the goal of one's works. So, this training, the spiritual culture, this cultivation of Krishna consciousness should ideally begin at a very young age so that we understand the pitfalls of Maya and we carefully avoid this. We remain cautious about all these distractions in our spiritual life, and we should stay laser focused on the goal. We should never lose sight of the goal, which is to attain God consciousness, love of Krishna, prema, love of Godhead. So we should stay laser focused, and whatever is distracting us from that goal, we should take that as Maya and we should try to avoid it. So in today's verse, we can see that there are, how do you go back? F5, right? F3, F5. F5 is going somewhere else. Shift F4. Yeah, I think. Yeah. Shift F4. Oh. Again, like that. Yeah. So therefore, we should never consider sense gratification to be the aim of life. Sense gratification means we can see here. See how easily we can get caught in this. I'm sorry. So everybody is actually expecting this. That's why it says here in today's verse that the pleasures we expect in the future. So we are constantly expecting so many things. So the strongest attachment that exists in this material world is the attraction between the male and female, which becomes the basic principle of material existence. On the basis of this misconception, which ties together the hearts of the male and female, one becomes attracted to his body. You can see, if you enter the brahmachari ashram, there will be only a very small mirror, just sufficient to put tilak only on the face. Body tilak you can anyway see, right? So usually one small or even palm, small mirror like this. You just apply and then apply. But as soon as one gets married, he becomes more conscious of how he looks and how, whether he's dressed up well and everything. So the mirror also becomes bigger. That means what? Bodily concept. You are becoming more focused on the body, which is actually a distraction, right? So every time you pass by, you you look into the mirror and is everything okay? Like that. So this is bodily concept. So main thing is cleanliness. That's all. Cleanliness. If you keep yourself clean, brahmachari is supposed to take shower. I mean, devotees take shower 2-3 times a day at least. So this is externally clean, and internally also one keeps himself very clean by chanting regularly and reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. So in this way, the consciousness also remains very clean. And of course, we also decorate the body with the tilak and all that. So you don't actually need to spend a lot of time in front of the mirror, but usually this is more commonly found among those who are in grihastha ashram. Slowly, the attachment is increasing. So attracted to his body, first of all, home, property, children, relatives, and wealth. So we can see in today's verse, this is explained also, that materialists are generally attracted to all these things. And they spend a lot of time trying to decorate all these things. Even the home, they have to keep it very nice and clean, so much of time. Buying small little things, accessories, how to make it look very nice. Oh, this corner is very empty. I want to put something here, all these kind of things. I mean, it's good if you can put some Krishna paintings and all that, just to be reminded of Krishna all the time. Wherever you look, you see Krishna. Okay, you will not forget. That much is enough. Oh, small little accessories. Oh, this bell, some wind chimes, it all looks very nice. Waste of time, right? Something that would remind us of Krishna, that's all. So in this way, they're actually getting distracted. So cleanliness is the basic thing that we have to follow very nicely. Keep the house neat and clean, and just put some pictures, as Srila Prabhupada would call it. These are the windows to the spiritual world. So if you can regularly, it creates an impression within the mind when you look at these paintings. So it's nice to have some Krishna paintings. That's about it. Unnecessary accessories in the house and all. It's, some special furniture and all. Like we used to have this one a lady, of course, she's not a devotee, but she likes to invite the devotees to the house whenever, in Philippines. She's actually from Singapore. She's a Singaporean, was settled there. And she would invite the devotees to the house once in a while, and she would like to show off her furniture, which is all very gold plated and everything. And oh, look at my furniture, this is how much it costs. And so much time she spends in decorating the whole house. But after giving a tour of her whole big palace, she would say that actually I'm not at all happy. I'm, very sad. I'm very morose. Nothing is happening in my life according to how I wanted. So many things, she complains about so many problems that she has. Why? Because the main thing is lacking. There is no, how long you can go on simply decorating your house, showing off your house and all that. Even if you build a house, you need somebody to show it off to, right? Right. So that's why regularly you invite guests, throw parties and all these things, because otherwise where's the fun, right? So how long you want to do this? How much you want to show off? So there is no real enjoyment. It is all just superficial things. So that real happiness actually comes when we connect with Krishna through the very simple process of Krishna consciousness. So we should not waste our time. We should not become attracted to the body, home, property, children, relatives, and wealth. In this way, one increases life's illusions and thinks in terms of I and mine. So actually, that's why Srila Prabhupada also never really recommended that householder devotees have, of course, in some places it is said that householder devotees should worship deities and all that. But if one is staying close to the temple, which is most ideal, morning and evening, actually, householder devotees should spend time in the temple, worshipping the deities here and everything here. Otherwise, it will eventually get to a point where, my Lord, my deity, my Janmashtami, everything my. That is also actually I and mine only. Instead of simply coming and serving in the association of devotees, if we do everything in the house, and then why the temple is there? So the temple, everybody should come to the temple and engage very nicely. And in this way, there won't be any my Krishna and all this kind of things. Krishna is there now already. So if you're staying close to the temple, just come and serve the deity here. So in this way, one should feel that, affinity towards the devotees always, and the temple. In this way, one can actually not become distracted from his goal. And naturally, when one comes to the temple, there are so many services that one can engage in. So these things are all distractions. And you see how one after another we go so far away from the actual goal. You're completely lost. So therefore, if we can see here how this is how material life is. Canto 11, chapter 3, text 18. Sri Prabhupada said, accepting the roles of male and female in human society, the conditioned souls unite in sexual relationships. Thus, they constantly make material endeavors to eliminate their unhappiness and unlimitedly increase their pleasure. But one should see that they inevitably achieve exactly the opposite result. So no matter how much we try through this pursuit of sense gratification, no matter how much we try, actually we are only getting the opposite result. Our spiritual life is also dwindling. We are not able to focus properly. You see? So one should see actually. One should see means what? Because that's what is happening. So we should be able to see. But we become so blinded by material happiness and taking care of the family and all these distractions that we are unable to see. But one should see actually that they are inevitably achieve exactly the opposite result. In other words, their happiness inevitably vanishes, and as they grow older, their material discomfort increases. You see, so therefore, we should try to, not just try, we should completely give up our pursuit of sense enjoyment. That's why it says self-preservation. As long as your body and soul are maintained together and they're comfortable. So as they say in Hindi, roti, kapda, makan. Right? So food, clothing and shelter. These are the basic necessities. Anything else is actually luxury. So as long as these basic necessities are met, one should live a very simple life. There's no need of any big extravagant arrangements for becoming very comfortable. So the more we try to become comfortable in the material world, that means we are going farther and farther from our goal. So we should not try to make a permanent settlement here. As Krishna has already said twice in the Bhagavad Gita, that this place is simply temporary, right? Dukhalayam shashvatam, anityam asukham. So we cannot attain any permanent happiness here. There may be some flickering happiness. Kamala jala jala jivana talamala. It's just like a drop of water on a lotus petal. It may be there, but just you move it a little bit, it'll fall off. So this flickering happiness of material life, it is not worth it. Like they say, return of investment, right? ROI. How much effort we are putting and what are we getting in return? Worth it? Negative. It's going in negative. So it's not at all worth it. The return of investment is negative. So why? That's why it is known as shrama. Unnecessarily, what is that? 1 to 8. 1 to 8. धर्मस्वानुष्ठिता पुंसं विश्वक्षेण कथासु यः नोत्पादयत् यदिरतिं श्रम एव हि केवलम्. Why is it coming here? What happened? Huh? Vedabase exited. This got stuck and closed. So any kind of activity that does not, the occupational activities a man performs according to his own position are only so much useless labor if they do not provoke attraction for the message of the personality of Godhead. So if we are engaged in some sort of an activity and if it is not actually, making us become attracted towards Krishna or his form, quality, pastimes, activities and all these things, it is simply useless labor. We are engaged in some unnecessary activity. The only gain we get is pain. So we should, you may call it a gain, but what kind of gain is it? You're getting something means gain, right? But pain you're getting. So why do something that causes no pain, no gain? Then you go through the pain, no? So one must only engage in those activities which draw us towards Krishna. So it is very, very easily become distracted, and especially these distractions are very prominent in family life. That is why it is stated here. किम आत्मनानेन जहाति योऽन्तता किम रिक्तहारे स्वजनाख्यदस्युभिः किम जायया संश्रुति हेतु भूतया मर्त्यस्य गेहै किम इहायुषो व्ययः. What is the use of the material body? Because that doesn't mean you go and commit suicide. Oh, what is the use of this body? I commit suicide. Not like that. That means there's no point in giving so much attention to maintaining this body and keeping it very no need. Just maintain the body and soul together. Take sufficient prasadam nicely. Just maintain it together. But to do what? It's not any big $1 million question, Our father used to say that to do what in life is $1 million question which has no answer. He used to say like that. It's $1 million question and which remains. It remains $1 million question. He used to say like that. Yeah, Bhagavad Gita, basic it is teaching. Your aim in life is to attain love of Godhead. So it is a valuable question. It is an important question to ask. What is, who am I? What am I supposed to do? Like Sanatana Goswami is also asking, Kayami, who am I? What am I supposed to do? What is my relationship with Krishna? Where did I come from? These are valuable questions, no doubt. But the answer is also there. So what is the use of the material body? So we should not give too much attention to making this body very attractive, which automatically leaves its owner at the end of life. You may take care of it so well, but at the point of death, Finished. It just leaves you. What is the use of all one's family members who are actually plunderers, taking away money that is useful for the service of the Lord in spiritual opulence? So actually, as this morning, right, we read in the Nectar of Devotion that the Goswamis, they set the ideal example of how wealth should be distributed. 50% should be given away for preaching activities. You see, this is the ideal division of wealth. You may work very hard if you're working. I mean, better you don't work hard for money, live a very simple life. But if somehow or the other you're unable to give your life, sacrifice your life to Krishna, that means you must be engaged in some work and earning some money. So that money, 50% should be set aside for Krishna. So Goswamis are setting an example like this. And in the balance 50%, 25% can be set aside for some emergency expenses, whatever. And 25% use. Not simply put in a fixed deposit and it will double in so many years, all this kind of things. big plans we make. Or invest in stocks. Put the money in stocks, it will increase more and more. No, not like that. Give it away. The more we actually give, the more we will get. We give to Krishna, of course. Not just give away means not to anybody and everybody. To the worthy. Veda Paraga, it says, what is that? 2:3:17. Right? So we must also know where to give the wealth. The materialistic way of pious activities like charity is recommended in the Smriti Shastras as quoted by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Money given in charity to a suitable person is guaranteed bank balance in the next life. Such charity is recommended to be given to a Brahmana. If the money is given in charity to a non-Brahmana without Brahmanical qualification, the money is returned in the next life in the same proportion. If it is given in charity to a half-educated Brahmana, even then the money is returned double. If the money is given in charity to a learned and fully qualified Brahmana, the money is returned 100 and 1,000 times. And if the money is given to a Veda Paraga, one who has factually realized the path of the Vedas, it is returned by unlimited multiplication. Of course, we should not part with 50% of our wealth so that it will come back in unlimited multiplication in our next life. Not for that purpose. But as Krishna is saying in the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, those who are unable to give their life fully for Krishna consciousness, they should give up the results of their work. So that way, one becomes, attached to Krishna. He will understand that actually nothing belongs to me. Everything is, Krishna is the proprietor of everything. So this concept will actually set in, and then slowly he will be able to give up his material comforts, material wealth, material possessions and all these things. So therefore, one has to learn how to just give away. This is excess actually. Who is that? Who followed this example even with a very small amount of money? Who was it? Kolavich Sridhara. He was selling, what was he selling? Some earthen pots. Banana leaf. Banana leaf cups. What do they call it? Doppe. What do they call it? Donne. Dona. So he was selling that. What can you possibly make with that? What can you? But even out of that, he is giving away 50%. You see? So it is not that Sanatana Goswami they were fabulously rich, so they were able to part with 50% of the wealth. So the same example is being followed by even the least of the least. So we should make that a practice. Give away 50%. Because now they would say then the Christian groups are better. In Philippines we have one group called Iglesia ni Cristo. So their members are required to give 10% of their wealth. So when you become a member of this organization, you have to declare your wealth, how much you are getting, your salary and all that you have to declare. After you declare, they will still go to the company and check there whether you have declared the proper amount, whether you're honest with your declaration. And then they make a agreement with the company wherever you're working. They make an agreement there. Before the salary reaches your hand, 10% first of all goes to the church. Then the balance only will come to you. It is like that, very strict. And if somehow the 10% did not come or something, immediately the following day they will knock on your door. Why? Where is your contribution? So, people join. Yeah. Because they tell them that if you give like this 10%, and they make their churches also like, very high, like this rocket shape, So they say whoever is a member of this church at the time of, they call it doomsday, on the day of judgment, everybody will just have to assemble in this rocket shaped church, and the church will shoot up like that into the sky, and it will go back to the kingdom of God. They say like that. And they all believe, all these members believe. So, we'll all assemble there. We want to become member. Okay, 10%. I want to go up like that. So you see, but now you may say that, they are better, 10%. Here 50% they're asking. I'll choose that one better. So something will be. No, we have to give like this to a Veda Paraga, or engage in preaching activities. Basically, whatever wealth we have, engage in preaching activities. Developing the temple, preaching, and all these things. So in this way, one becomes detached. He doesn't become attached to the material wealth. Because material wealth, what is it actually? Where is that? Wealth is perpetual source of distress. 11:3. 20. Yeah. Yeah, 19. So here we can see Nityartidena vittena durlabhenatma mrityuna grihapatyapta pashubhi kapriti sadhitais chalaihi. Wealth is a perpetual source of distress. It is most difficult to acquire, and it is virtual death for the soul. Therefore, what satisfaction does one actually gain from his wealth? Similarly, how can one enjoy any genuine happiness from those things that are gained or maintained by one's hard-earned money, such as home, children, relatives, and domestic animals, since they are all temporary? See, first of all, it is very difficult to earn this wealth, and even after we get it, it's all taken away by. That's why it says Swajanakya Dasyubhi. Dasyubhi means plunderers, thieves. Swajanakya means family members are being compared to thieves. Not only thieves, in so many places, family members are compared to so many very nice things. Jackals, whale, whirlpool, what else? Crocodile, thieves, plunderers. Happy family. So the wealth, which is, you may be working very hard to earn this money, but it should be utilized. The best utilization of wealth is in the service of the Lord. Lakshmi should be engaged in the service of Narayan. In Singapore, I believe they do the Lakshmi Kubera Puja. Just anyhow, some branch manager and some staff, just put them together and worship. Even though they're not husband wife, just put them together, start worshipping, so that you can get some special perks in the bank. How to do like that? Lakshmi Kubera Puja makes no sense actually. Just because they're somehow both related to wealth, okay, can worship. So Ganesh Lakshmi also. They have the standard trilogy, no? What is that? Ganesh, Saraswati, Lakshmi. Ganesh will remove all obstacles, sweeping, mopping he will do. And then Saraswati will give knowledge, Lakshmi will give wealth. Okay, all set. Uh-huh. Yeah, not for material. What they are doing any spiritual activity. They are putting the triology for material. One will do sweeping, mopping, the other will provide. So they are using the demigods like this. So not like that. Lakshmi should only be utilized in Narayana's seva, Narayana's service. And in this way, Lakshmi will automatically come more and more. She wants to serve Lord Narayan. So if there's an opportunity, she'll more and more will come. So we should not take the means of Ravana and simply take Lakshmi and just put her together with anybody who is in the financial department. So wealth also. Otherwise, what is the use of this wealth? As soon as you have some money, like we in Philippines, actually, there's this whole business, money lending business, which is very big, and it is done by Indians there. All Punjabis come and do this business. Why? Because they just cannot. And not only in Philippines, probably everywhere, but in Philippines it's very prominent. They just do not know how to keep some wealth for themselves. They will just spend. They will receive the salary, next day they are pauper. Gone, all money gone, completely spent. And then they start borrowing money, loan. Yes. Borrow. And this is not only among some poor people, even the president of Philippines. All of you know Duterte, right? Is known for all the bad reasons, but he actually completed his education because his mother was borrowing from Indians only, Punjabis. So from the president down to the layman, everybody, this is in their blood. As soon as they receive the money, with the other hand, they just spend everything spent. Next day they start borrowing. Okay? So money will just go like that. If it is not engaged in Narayana service, from one hand you receive, the other hand it will just go. Lakshmi doesn't want to reside in this place because it is going into sinful activity. So she will just go away because her nature is chanchalam. She is very restless. Yeah. Before it goes for some sinful activities, they are already churches making contract with companies so that they siphon the money. So it should go. Actually, maybe we should also implement this. We should also not simply membership program straight with companies. We should also. So it is a distraction. When it is spent unnecessarily like this will only cause distress, more and more distress. So coming back to where did it go? 8:22:9. Who are plunderers, taking away money that is useful for the service of the Lord in spiritual opulence. What is the use of a wife? She's only the source of increasing material conditions. It's 3, right? What is it? That which expands? It's 3. So that which expands. So everything expands, as we saw in 5:5:8. As soon as one comes in contact with the woman, then wife, then children, then family, then all these things, everything becomes increased. So what is the use of a wife? She is only the source of increasing material conditions. Increasing material conditions means going farther from the goal. We lose sight of the goal. So many distractions, so many obstacles. We lose sight of the goal. We just become totally entangled and engrossed in material activities, simply maintaining family. And so in this way, we become blind to the spiritual goal. And what is the use of family, home, country, and community? They say without all these things, how can one? You need a community. Whatever you do, you find that sort of a community, a group. If you're into some sports or something, you go onto Facebook, you'll find some group, okay, this particular sport, basketball, some group, you'll make some friends and all that. So everywhere. So here it is being said, what is the use of all these things? Country, community, home, family. What is the use of all these things? Attachment for them merely wastes the valuable energy of one's lifetime. So one becomes engaged in pleasing all these groups of people, but he forgets the main goal of pleasing Prabhupada and Krishna. I mean, the spiritual master and Krishna. That is completely given up. So in this way, one becomes very easily distracted. Therefore, one should keep one's material life very, very simple. What was today? So, yeah, this verse, famous verse, Deha Patya, where is that? Deha Patya Kalatradish Atma Sanyasvasatsvapi Tesham Pramatto Nidhanam Pashyan Api Na Pashyati. So, just now we read in 11.3.18 that one should see that they achieve exactly the opposite result, but they are unable to see. Why? Persons devoid of Atma Tattva do not inquire into the problems of life, being too attached to the fallible soldiers like the body, children, and wife. Although sufficiently experienced, they still do not see their inevitable destruction. So they do not see it. It's right there in front of their eyes. They see everything spiraling downwards, but still they are somehow trying their best to try to save it. It's a material endeavor again. So the only way to actually get out of all this is to adopt the life of Krishna consciousness and engage all of one's family members in Krishna's service. And in this way, one can be saved from falling down into the cocoon of, as we can see, 7, 6, 11. How one becomes very much entangled How can a person who is most affectionate to his family, the core of his heart being always filled with their pictures, give up their association? Specifically, a wife is always very kind and sympathetic and always pleases her husband in a solitary place. Who could give up the association of such a dear and affectionate wife? Small children talk in broken language, very pleasing to hear, and their affectionate father always thinks of their sweet words. Only the parents can understand what the children are saying, Most of the time they're just talking some gibberish only. No, but the parents give newer and newer meanings, to all this gibberish talk. Actually, no meaning yet. But of course, it is very sweet when they start talking, some small, little words also. It's like a big development, in the growth of the child. So the parents become very much mesmerized by all this. Small children talk in broken language, very pleasing to hear. What if an adult also starts talking like this? Is it very pleasing to hear? The kind of things that children do, that the mother, especially the mother, tolerates so much in the infancy stage. So what if an adult also starts behaving like this? Is it very cute? Not. Annoying, I want to drive the person away from that. But because it's their children, it becomes very, very pleasing. But these are all things that distracts our attention from the main goal. The focus is lost. And their affectionate father also thinks of their sweet words. How could he give up their association? One's elderly parents and one's sons and daughters are also very dear. A daughter is especially dear to her father, and while living at her husband's house, she's always in his mind. Who could give up that association? Aside from this, in household affairs, there are many decorated items of household furniture, and there are also animals and servants. Who could give up such comforts? The attached householder is like a silkworm which weaves a cocoon in which it becomes imprisoned, unable to get out. Simply for the satisfaction of the two important senses, the genitals and the tongue, one is bound by material conditions. How can one escape? You see how one becomes simply trapped within this cocoon of material existence, and he is unable to escape from this. So this is how this whole Maya is created. Everything looks very beautiful on the outside, but we should be aware of the danger of getting into this sort of life. So therefore, even if one is in family life, of course, most people would end up in Grihastha ashram. There are very few who would continue as brahmacharis and Naishtika brahmacharis or Ajivan brahmacharis. Most of them would eventually transition into Grihasthas. So, and it is from Grihasthas only that new generation of brahmacharis can again come. So the parents should encourage the children very much to take a brahmacharya life, and that is actually that is the most ideal situation actually. Fortunately, our mother, she actually pushed us into this, after especially Tattva Prabhu joined. She did not at all want me to go to university. She said, no way he's going to the university. He'll be completely lost. So she made an arrangement with Tattva Prabhu that I also come here and get trained here. And also, mother should be like that. It's not, parents should not see their children as an investment. Nowadays this is going on. Now I invest in him. He will grow up and he will take care of me in a very luxurious way. He will accommodate me in a big, nice bungalow and provide me all the material comforts that I could not afford. So, return of investment. So, that is not the duty of the parents. The parents should guide the children to accept Krishna consciousness and, if possible, completely dedicate their life from the tender age of childhood. They should be taught all these things so that they should become brahmacharis and carry forward the movement of Srila Prabhupada, the new generation of brahmacharis, like that. They should be nicely trained like that. Otherwise, one can, that's why actually the very strict injunction that one should not even become parents if one is not able to deliver his dependence. Delivering the dependence means what? Oh, I went through delivery. I delivered the dependent. I delivered the child in the delivery room. Not that kind of delivery. So deliver from the cycle of birth and death, from the samsara cycle, they should be delivered. That means they must accept Krishna consciousness from a very tender age of childhood. They should be taught all these things. So, talking about death, in this verse, today's verse, it is also talking about death. So here we saw so far, until now, that all these are distractions. Of course, there are many more verses in the Mukunda Mala Stotra also. There are some verses where, yeah, maybe we can just see that quickly and then we'll go to 13, right? When did I come to 12 again? 13. Trishnato ye madana pavano dhutamohormimale dharavarte tanaya sahaja graha sanghakule cha samsarakhe mahati jaladhau majjatam nastridhaman padam bhoje varada bhavato bhakti navam prayacha. O Lord of the three worlds, we are drowning in the vast ocean of samsara, which is filled with the waters of material hankering, with many waves of illusion whipped up by the winds of lust, with whirlpools of wives, and with vast schools of sharks and other sea monsters who are our sons and brothers. O giver of all benedictions, please grant me a place on the boat of devotion that is your lotus feet. So you can see how wife is a whirlpool. What does a whirlpool do? It washes all the clothes. Whirlpool washing machine. Is it? The wife will wash all the clothes. Is it? No. Whirlpool will suck everything downwards, right? So we will also become sucked downwards into material existence. We have to go upward, right? We have to go towards Krishna, and that requires a lot of effort. And if there is counter effort, pulling you down also, it becomes very difficult. If you're anchored, your leg is anchored to the ground, pulling you down, how can you go upwards. It's very difficult. So, wife is compared to a whirlpool pulling us down. And vast schools of sharks and other sea monsters were our sons and brothers. Very pleasing words, no? So, sharks. So, there's a lot of danger. They will eat up your spiritual life. They will eat up your time. They will eat up everything. Monsters. Of course, not if they are devotees. So, this is the way we can get very easily distracted. Of course, there are many verses like this. So, in today's verse, it is talking about how a devotee should not be afraid of death. Otherwise, it is simply useless labor. Having studied the Shastras and all that, if you're still worried about giving up your body and all these things, this is what is stated in today's verse. But so therefore, we must understand that death, first of all, is very certain. Is there anywhere that Krishna says that if you become a devotee, you will never have to give up this body? He says, Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti. He doesn't say, no Tyaktva deham. He doesn't say you will not have to go through, giving up this body. So, it is certain. Death is going to come. But the definition of death is that to accept a new body. So, therefore, we don't say death. Devotees means, actually, because devotee again doesn't mean somebody who started chanting yesterday. We are talking about a pure devotee, a Bhagavatottama. Pure devotee means of the highest platform. So, we should not count ourselves among such Bhagavatottamas. Right? So, for those who have taken birth in this material world, death is certain, right? So, from the beginning, Krishna has been saying this only. So, if suddenly that death comes, why should we be so surprised? Why should we be so afraid of it? And did anyone tell us that we will not be dying? From the beginning, in fact, I don't know about in other places, but in India, as soon as the topic of death comes, immediately they'll be, don't talk about death, don't talk about this kind of thing. Why? Huh? Something that is so common, happening every day. It is, nobody is an exception. Why shouldn't we be talking about it? The whole discussion of Bhagavatam started because of somebody dying. He's going to die. So, what am I supposed to do now? And then that verse yesterday, what is that? 1:17:39. 1:19? 1:19:37. 1:19:37. अतः पृच्छामि संसिद्धिं योगिनां परमं गुरुं पुरुषस्येह यत्कार्यं म्रियमाणस्य सर्वथा. Mriyamanasya, that means what? Of one who is going to die. Who is that who is not going to die? Of one. Only one person. Everybody. You're not going to die. That means you will be surprised. Suddenly you will be afraid. What is this? What's happening? We must be prepared from the very beginning. Jatasya dhruvam mrityu, dhruvam janma mritasya cha. Whoever is taken birth, death is certain. So, and for one who is going to die, what is the process? You are the spiritual master of great saints and devotees. I am therefore begging you to show the way of perfection for all persons, especially for one who is about to die. So, actually, all persons are about to die. So, it is for all persons. This process that he is begging, he is begging him to show. So, as soon as this topic comes, no. Shubh shubh bolo, shubh shubh bolo. What shubh shubh bolo? Simply talking shubh shubh means death will run away in fear. No. So, we have to be mentally prepared. From the very beginning, we should be mentally prepared that yes, I'm going to die. When am I going to die? Oh, long time more, I'm still young. No. Tomorrow I can die. Now I can die. Roof may collapse, I may die. Some way or other, I will die. So, before we die means now. Turnam. Turnam yatetana pate anumrityu yavan. Before the body has died, which is when? Now. Because next moment I can die. So immediately we must take it up if we haven't already. And if we have already been introduced to this, we must become more and more serious, competing with yourself. Every day competing with yourself, become stronger and stronger in your spiritual. So in this way, prepare for death. One should not be simply fearful of death. So these distractions, if we can avoid and focus our attention on preparing for death, then that is ideal human life. Otherwise, if we simply become engrossed in these other activities, like see in this connection, we can see what Vidura Mahatma is instructing Dhritarashtra, right? 23 maybe. You see, he is actually teaching Dhritarashtra. So Dhritarashtra, he was living in the house, right, of who? The Pandavas. He had been scheming against the Pandavas throughout his life. He wanted to kill the Pandavas. He adopted so many ways of trying to kill these Pandavas, especially Bhima, because Bhima was the opponent or rival of Duryodhan. Duryodhan was very strong, but Bhima was he was going to kill Duryodhana, and Dhritarashtra knew this very well. So now after the whole war is over, naturally the Kauravas lost, Duryodhana died, all the 100 sons died, and Dhritarashtra, what is he doing? Okay, जो हो गया सो हो गया, अभी रहने दो ना, उन चीजों के बारे में क्यों बात करना है? Why talk about all those things? Something happened, yeah, I schemed against you all my life, but now I have nowhere else to go. So please let me stay. How shameless, no? And he was so blind. Spiritually is already, materially is already blind. Spiritually is also so blind. And you see how it is explained also here. 323, right? Yeah. How powerful are the hopes of a living being to continue his life? He should be dead, actually. He should be dead and gone. All his sons have died. There's no purpose, no meaning to his living. So alas, how powerful are the hopes of a living being to continue his life? Verily, you are living just like a household dog and eating remnants of food given by Bhima. See how strong words Vidura is using against Dhritarashtra, who is his elder brother. Elder brother is supposed to be, respected, but Vidura is a self-realized soul, and Dhritarashtra is completely blind spiritually, materially and spiritually, completely blind. He has no idea what he's doing. He's still hoping that somehow or the other he can just prolong his life and somehow find some comfort here in the material world, even at the cost of his own humiliation like this. So Vidura could see this. He went for pilgrimage, right? Vidura went for pilgrimage and he came back and he saw his elder brother. What? Such a shameless man. Household dog, just like a pet animal, at the mercy of its master. Living like a dog, eating the remnants of food, given by Bhima. Lo, kha lo, jo bacha bucha hai, kha lo. And he's eating, he's living there. And then in the next verse he says, okay, you can. Purport is long, we'll just skip this, we'll just go to the next verse. So he is reminding him, there is no need to live a degraded life and subsist on the charity of those whom you tried to kill by arson and poisoning. You also insulted their wife and usurped their kingdom and wealth. So he's reminding all the nonsense that he did. So this is actually Guru. Guru means somebody who can actually cut the knots of attachment, cut the knots of illusion by speaking such sharp words. Although he is the younger brother, he is a self-realized soul. So therefore he is able to speak like this. Despite your unwillingness to die and your desire to live even at the cost of honor and prestige, your miserly body will certainly dwindle and deteriorate like an old garment. You may try all you want, but It is inevitable. Body is going to dwindle and die. So before it gets to that, you better prepare for, So death should be a very conscious decision. Just like if you get up from here and walk towards the door, it just didn't happen suddenly without you knowing. It may happen in a groggy state. Maybe when you wake up, sleepwalking, you end up somewhere. It may happen, but death should be a very conscious move, a very conscious decision that this is how I wish to give up this body. I wish to be fully aware of what I'm doing at the time of death. And what would we be thinking at the time of death? Sadatad bhava bhavitaha. Whatever you have been constantly thinking of throughout your life is naturally what is going to come to our mind at the time of death. It makes sense, right? So you can actually test yourself. Like, suddenly if you may slip or something, what are the kind of words that would come out of your mouth? Some people speak vulgar words, They slip or something, or somebody, something drops from their hand. Vulgar words come out. That means where will you go? You will go to a very vulgar, abominable place. Hell. You have a lot of options there. 26 gates, is it? How many gates are there? 28. 28. So, planets, yeah. So, a lot of choices there. Very abominable place. Stool, urine, some people speak such words. So, yeah, there are places where these are in abundance. You can swim all you want in all these ingredients. So, we should train ourselves. Even when you suddenly drop something or slip or something, Krishna should come out of your mouth. There's even a verse like that, right? Patan Skalan, where is that? Yannamadheya Premana. Is that the one? While slipping, which verse is that? 12:47. If when falling, slipping, feeling pain, or sneezing, one involuntarily cries out in a loud voice, obeisances to Lord Hari. You can't exactly say that while sneezing. Obeisances to Lord Hari. You can't say that. That means you should remember the Lord, right? Basically, that's what it means. Like, as soon as you sneeze, Krishna, whatever. So automatically, it should become, even subconsciously, you should just say it like that. And that also requires a little bit of practice. Even if you slip or something, Krishna, immediately it should come. So death also may come, it can come like that. Right? Death can come in any form. So even at that point, if you are able to remember Krishna, that means you are at least slightly prepared. Because main thing is the consciousness. But even if somebody says, even if he's not aware of what he's saying, if he just says it, still he has, he will become completely freed from all his sinful reaction. But unfortunately, in Kali Yuga, I think that's there just few verses before this or somewhere, right? 12:3, is it? 12:3:44. This Yannamadheya Mriyamana Atura Patan Skalan Vavivashogrinan Puman Vimukta Karma Argala Uttamam Gatim Prapnoti Yakshanti Natam Kalau Janaha. People in Kali Yuga, they are so unfortunate. Terrified, about to die, a man collapses on his bed. Although his voice is faltering and he is hardly conscious of what he is saying, if he utters the holy name of the Supreme Lord, he can be freed from the reaction of his fruitive work and achieve the supreme destination. But still, people in the age of Kali will not worship the Supreme Lord. Like the Prabhupada's attention went to that advertisement, chant, can't. Right? All that they have to do is simply chant, but they will not do. There's actually, I think, one old movie also like that, where some lady was dying, and they wanted her to chant Narayana. Then, not able to say, he was uttering some nonsense. Then, at least so that she could say half the word Nara, they went and showed some rope, some thread or something, because thread is also called Nara. So she showed like this, and she looked at it and said, Pichu. That's another word, like a synonym for like thread. So instead of saying Nara, at least they thought if you say half the word, no, Pichu. Finished, died. So, I mean, you have to be fortunate. You have to accumulate some piety, some spiritual piety, in order to be able to even chant the holy name of the Lord. So throughout our life is actually preparation for death. So throughout our life, sada tad bhava bhavita, we should constantly remember Krishna, and there is a very good chance that at the time of death, I mean, it's still not certain. No, I've remembered Krishna throughout my life. It's still not certain. You still have to be. It should be a conscious move that yes, death is approaching, and it comes with so many like warnings. You can't just cover up those warnings and say that no, I'm not going to die. Like when your hair starts to become gray, what is that? It's a symptom that you're growing old. Oh, I'll cover it up, paint it black, finish. Counteracted death. I painted it black, finish. Cannot. I mean, we should take these as symptoms of death coming closer. Old age, after old age, what is next? Kaumarama. After old age, death only, right? So, when we are showing some symptoms, wrinkles, eyes are becoming blur, hair is becoming white. No, I'll cover up all that. Laser treatment to the eye, hair dye to the hair, Botox and what is it? What is it called? Plastic surgery. Counteract it. No, this is not the way to counteract it. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yoveti tattva tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sorjan. You understand Krishna. You simply dedicate your life to these descriptions, and then you will conquer death in the sense that there will be no more rebirth. But death is certain. For this lifetime, death is certain. So we should not at all be afraid of it. This fear comes due to, what does fear arise from? Misidentification. Bhayam dvitiyabhiniveshat syat. So when we think that we are this body, we become attached to this body, we think this is who we are. Then we will think, like I used to think when I was young, when I was, I think, 6 or 7 years old, that was the first time we ever went by plane. We traveled by plane. I was 6 years old. So just, I think a few weeks before that, there was a plane that crashed. So somehow it created an impression in my mind that every plane takes off only to crash. It's like, what is that? Euthanasia. I mean, like, it's like that one last kick in life, and then you'll end up with a crash landing, and you will just die. Every plane takes off to only crash land and die. Everybody dies. So there was a discussion that was going on in our house that we were going to travel from Delhi to Hyderabad, some 2-hour flight or something. So vote. We were all voting whether to go by train or plane. So majority voted for plane. I was like, train. And they're like, why? The plane is going to crash. Then what is going to happen to our house, all our belongings? Where will we? I mean, who will take care of all this? I was worried like that. Why? Because naturally I'm thinking I'm this body. So it just created an impression that plane will land. I mean, crash land. So we are all going to die. We are going to board this flight from Delhi and just die. So I was crying. I remember the scene very clearly. I was crying, weeping. No, we will go by train only. Why train cannot crash? Is it? Train also can crash, right? So, of course, that was not in the news in the recent past, that time. So, fear arises. I was so fearful that time. So, after we completed that journey, then it was a big realization for me that planes can land. So, Fear arises when we think that we are this body, when this body is lost. But actually, what is there to really be fearful about? Life is eternal, right? Life just goes on. You accept a new body again and continues. And that's so, as soon as we even understand this basic understanding of spiritual life, that we are not this body, majority of that fear is already erased. So then we can actually easily focus on more spiritual activity. So even even in this state, if we are able to utter something, we can immediately be freed from the reaction of our fruitive work and achieve the supreme destination. But still, in Kali Yuga, people are so unfortunate that they will not take it up. They will not at all take it up. And so therefore, we have to really induce them like that Madhvacharya, right? To carry them and shake them until they accept Krishna as the Supreme Lord. He's very stout and strong. He will pick them up literally and shake them until हिल गया कहते हैं ना, पूरा हिल जाएगा, and they will accept the Vedic conclusion. So we have to induce people, we have to force people to chant. Nowadays, a lot of people say you can't force, no, they must come of their own accord. Force नहीं कर सकते. Forcing, without forcing they will come or what? You catch them by the ear or hair or whatever, pull them, then that is when they will come. Otherwise, nobody is coming. That's the fact. You can't say, oh, you can't force them. Let them choose. They will choose nonsense then cry. There was one bhakta we had in Philippines. He was actually coming up quite well. He's an Indian, Punjabi. He was coming up actually quite well. But his grandmother was not very happy. She is apparently a Krishna devotee and all. But she is not very happy that he is going to the temple daily. He may become a brahmachari or sannyasi or something, she thought. So she advised him, and suddenly one day, 2-3 days he didn't come. He was actually coming for Mangalarti and everything. Then 2-3 days he didn't come. The 4th day he came with his Bhagavad Gita chanting bag and all. I thought, very good, he's moving into the temple. No, he came to surrender everything. I don't know what he understood about the concept of surrender. He surrendered all his devotee paraphernalia and left. So before leaving, I asked him, what happened? His grandmother is not happy that he is going too much into spiritual life, and she gave him big lecture. You must have material life, you must family and everything. So after that, he went full-fledged into material life. He started drinking, everything. Then she called us. She said, please guide our, my grandson, he is going astray, please do something only. All. Now what to do? You pulled him out, right? And now she wants our help to again finish. He's completely gone now. He's doing drugs, he's doing all sorts of things. Indian boy, that way, in Philippines. Young boy. So that time she was saying, no, you can't force and all. She called, she didn't talk to us directly. She called her son. That grandmother called the son, that means the boy's father, and said, no, you can't force like this, you cannot do things like this. Let him choose, let him get the understanding later on in life. We were guiding him properly, nicely, and then now he's completely gone astray. Now they cry. So if they are not mature enough to choose what they want, so they should be guided properly, right? So nowadays this is the thing, they are always, parents also say, no, I don't want to force, let them choose. Let them come, if they come. School, that is a very good point. School they force. No, must go to school. They even beat the children. Wake up, you must go to school on time. Mangalarti, no, beta, sleep, it's okay, you're tired. So this is hypocrisy, complete hypocrisy. So forcing should be here. You must come to the temple, otherwise you'll get a kick on the backside. This kind of forcing should be there. If you don't come for a temple program, school, never mind, you skip also, never mind. So this is hypocrisy. So we must actually push them to until they are stably by themselves come into the temple. They are not mature enough to make a choice. They are not in that. So that's why it is the parents' duty and the superior's duty to guide them properly, channel them, and once they are set, they will not leave the path. That way the parents have done their duty properly. So we'll finish what Vidura Mahatma is saying here. It's already getting very late. 1, 13, 20, where are we? 4, 24. Five. You see, this is actually ideal death, because at the time of death, for usually for materialists, I think there's also Prabhupada used to say, is there a verse like that they like to see that if somebody has seen their great grandson or great great grandson, they consider themselves very successful in life. Yeah, I think proverb. So they think like that, and then they name that one child before last breath. Aapka naam. In movies also they show like that. That is one big thing. Oh, his great 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 grandfather has directly named him. What a great fortune! Some 6 generations down. So they think it is a big achievement like that. But actually, no. You should not wait around, hang around your family members until that point. It is a very miserable death. Because like Vishwambar Prabhu was saying yesterday also, last minute they will come, they will show the face of the grandchild, the guy hardly can even move. Even if he's trying to focus on Krishna, they are trying to make him talk something. It's a distraction. He should peacefully be allowed to just go. So if he wants it to be a conscious decision, he should just leave. When he is still healthy and fine and able to manage himself, he should just leave. And you see, he who has not properly utilized his material body is called undisturbed if he goes to an unknown place and freed from all obligations, indifferently quits his body. Unknown place. That means the family members don't even know whether he's still living or dead. Far away from family, far away from home. This is what Vanaprastha actually means. Vanaprastha and sannyas. Sannyas, the family doesn't even know what is happening to this person anymore, whether he's still living or dead, or they don't even know. Completely gone, no more connection with family. This is ideal death. No, I want to die within the family, within my house, only bury me also inside the house so I can come and haunt you, What kind of death is this? Horrible death. And he has no opportunity to actually focus his attention on Krishna at all. There's no way. And then nowadays, even worse. There was a video, I don't know if you all saw this. So bad. One lady, old lady, she had, I don't know if they were even her sons or her daughter's husbands. The lady already passed away. She was at the back seat of the car. Lady passed away. They were going to take the body. I think the son, No, sorry, daughter's husband, correct. Because there will be property and all that, there will be dispute. She had a lot of property, wealth and everything. So before it becomes, before it ends up in court or something, the husband of one of the daughters quickly ran to the car, brought all the property papers, took the hand of the dead woman, started putting her stamp, fingerprint on the property papers. Somebody noticed it already. Some papers already stamped. Then somebody noticed it and stopped it, and but already that was his shortcut. Instead of going through the courts and years of struggle, okay, the body is still there. No, हमें और क्या चाहिए? Fingerprint, अंगूठा छाप तो चाहिए. She's still there. The fingerprint is still valid. Okay, good. Life is not there also. Never mind. Her will is not there also. Never mind. So he's taking a shortcut. You see, this is how those so-called family members whom we work so hard for, this is all they actually care about. So why should we be hanging around such people until the point of death? It's not even worth it. And if you're actually alive, if you don't go until that extent, even if you're alive, that is what they would come to you with at the last point. अभी आपका आखिरी सांस चल रहा है, क्या सोचा आपने? What are you thinking now? Whom do you want to give the property to? I'm the one who took care of you. So what do you think? Start putting words in the mouth, So this is horrible death. So before it gets to that stage, just give up all these things. peacefully. Of course, death is never peaceful, right? 11, 10, 20 is it? Death is never pleasing, but at least Ante Narayana Smriti can happen. That is the actual goal in life, right? We want to think of Krishna at the time of death. That can actually happen, whether peaceful or not. If you're able to think of Krishna, that is good. Death is not at all pleasing. And since everyone is exactly like a condemned man being led to the place of execution, what possible happiness can people derive from material objects or the gratification they provide? So death is never pleasing. Oh, he died peacefully. He closed his eyes. In sleep, he died. Looking at Yamadutas. Huh? How can it be a peaceful death? There are so many videos also, I think, of probably the Yamadutas, the people suddenly look up in the air and they go spiraling like that and they fall down and they die. And probably Yamadutas coming to take them, no? So in sleep, you don't see Yamadutas, is it? Immune. Yamadutas cannot touch you if you are sleeping, is it? Did Yamaraj say any such thing? Those who are sleeping, do not touch them, do not go near them. While sleeping also you can see. So it can be, death is never pleasing. But we all have to die. So the only way we can make it, the ideal way is to properly remember Krishna and consciously leave the body. Okay, now it is time. It is time for me to go. Don't be in denial. No, maybe I'm still strong. Put me on a ventilator. Put me on something, plead with the doctor. I'll give you all my property, just bring me back to life. The doctor and medicine cannot do anything if the will of the Lord is not there. Cannot. So the doctor and medicine cannot do anything. When time is up, just like in the examination hall, you're writing something. Ma'am, last answer, please. Cannot do like that. Time is up means the invigilator will come and snatch your paper, that's all. The last plan I have, 5-year plan, please. Cannot. You cannot plead like that. It's finished. Time is up means time is up. So we should not be in that sort of a last minute thing. Oh, I did not utilize my life properly. Now I want to do something. That's not the time to do anything. Too late. So from the beginning. Or Turna means whenever you got to know about it, that's it. From that time onwards, become stronger and stronger and stronger. Very, very serious about spiritual life. As one point with one pointed attention, without any unnecessary distractions. Give up all these other distractions voluntarily before it is snatched away from you. So in this way, one can become fearless. Of course, we can see those two verses again yesterday. Also, I think we saw, right? Etan nirvidyamananam. Ichchatam akuto bhayam. O King, constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord after the ways of the great authorities is the doubtless and fearless way of success for all, including those who are free from all material desires, those who are desirous of all material enjoyment, and also those who are self-satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge. So this is the fearless way. You will overcome all types of fear. And in fact, that verse is also there. Fear will run away. 114, no? Apanna samshritam ghoram yannama vivaso gృణాన్ tata sadyo vimuchyeta yad bibheti swayam bhayam. Even fear will run away. Living beings who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by fear personified. Fear will run away in fear of the holy name of the Lord. And the other one is what? Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma. 2:1:5. Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Harihi Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha Smartavyascha Ichchata Abhayam. Chechata Abhayam. Abhayam again. No fear. Not that simply you wear one cap with that logo, no fear, eyes like this. Oh, I am fearless. Yamadutagam, you will be trembling in fear. So for becoming fearless, O descendant of King Bharata, one who desires to be free from all miseries must hear about, glorify and also remember the personality of Godhead, who is the super soul, the controller, and the savior from all miseries. Then this way one must become fearless. Abhayam is translated as freedom. So one, especially after studying all these things, after understanding all these things, if we become fearless of giving up all these things, oh, what will happen to me? What will happen to my family? Who will take care of them? Life will just go on. Their life will go on. One day, 2 days, they will cry. Third day, you're already hung up on the wall with one garland. 1 week, 2 weeks later, they won't even look at that photo anymore. They'll forget. Life will just go on. Their life will be smoothly going on. So we don't have to think that, oh, I am the karta, I have been taking care of them, and if I am not there, what will happen to them? Why worry about all this? Krishna is taking care of everybody, all the living entities, up to the small, insignificant ant also, Krishna is taking care. So according to one's result of, pious or impious activities, they are getting their due reaction. So we are actually nobody. We are just instruments, and our only duty, our main responsibility is to actually guide them spiritually. Material comforts and all will automatically be taken care of. So spiritually, they have to be guided. The dependents have to be guided properly. That is our responsibility. So in this way, one should not be fearful of death. From the beginning, if we are not in a state of denial, if we accept that death is certain, it is inevitable, it is going to come in any form, at any time it can come, so I have to be prepared for it. And we should just accept this process of Krishna consciousness in preparation for this death, which is the final examination. Alright, so with this I would like to stop you for today. If anyone, if you have any questions, clarifications, doubts, or any points you would like to add.
Very painfully created 5 reasons. Mother, Kisora, and because of our element, what is, we buy any product, we see the constituents, what is the ingredients. For one thing, we loving body so much. Skin disease, Prabhu used to say. Below the skin, all abdominal materials. Love it so much.
Yes, we should not become like that, narcissistic, very self-centered, always thinking about ourselves and how we look and how we should be in the limelight and in the center of attraction. Why? So we should come out of this bodily concept, and we should always identify ourselves as part and parcel of Krishna. Whatever this body that Krishna has given us, we should utilize it fully. Like Tattva Prabhu always says in the lecture, we should not simply go around donating blood. That is not our donate the whole body, no? Why only blood? And organ donor. Oh, when I die, you can take my eyes. For some person who may not have eyes. What kind of organ donation is it? Whole body you donate, no, for Krishna. Serve Krishna nicely, body, mind, and words. So in this way, we have to, as long as we are in a healthy state, we should do as much as we can, because once the body starts to dwindle, anyway we won't be able to do. So while we are in a healthy state, we should do as much as we can, devote all our time and energy for serving the Lord. Best use of the bad bargain. It's a horrible bargain that we made. Horrible bargain. We thought we are very good. Oh, we went to the market, got a good, horrible bargain we made. We wanted to enjoy separately from Krishna, and we got a horrible bag of blood, stool, urine, pus, all this kind of thing. Abominable. What kind of bargain is this? So we have to make the best use of it. Best use is to serve Krishna. What is that? What is that? 3, 7, 10? Hmm. Yeah. So anything else? Any?
Like, I'm somebody like asked me for money. So I give that person, and that person use that money for simple activity like alcohol or eat some very important activity.
Yes, you facilitated it, no? So you will be implicated equally. So that's why helping others means, first of all, we must know what they require. They don't know. They are asking for something that they think they require. But as devotees, we should know, and out of compassion, we should give them exactly what they require. And the only thing that is lacking in the material world is Krishna consciousness. So we should give them Krishna consciousness in the form of, it could be music, chanting Hare Krishna, they can hear. You can give them Krishna Prasadam, you can give them philosophy, depending on their state of mind, their consciousness. Some people can accept philosophy, others may not be able to comprehend. So you can give them Prasadam. Everybody is eating something or the other. So you can distribute Krishna in these ways. You can distribute Krishna in the form of his holy name, Prasadam, philosophy. So in this way, we must first of all know, if we give something other than what is actually going to help him, we are not really doing any help. Right? So yeah, we should never give them money, because they will definitely misuse it. And we will be implicated because we are facilitating it. Of course, you may take pity, especially if you come to Philippines, you see street children there, you will take pity, you will cry. And then you would want to give out all your money to them. What will they go and do? They smell this rugby glue, they get high on it. All street kids doing that, so that they can forget their hunger. They do like that. They sniff the glue, put it in a plastic and keep on sniffing it all day. 2-3 days they can go without any meal. Kids like this. So you see all this scene, you'll feel pity and you'll start crying. Okay, take money. I'll go and buy glue. You're facilitating it. So don't give out money, but you give something that will take him to Krishna. Prasadam, always you can carry some prasadam, some dry prasadam or something. Always you can give. Yes, Mataji, you were saying. Hmm. 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 No, nowhere it says that you cannot achieve the purpose of life by entering Grihastha ashram. That is why it is called an ashram. Any ashram means where service to the Lord is being nicely executed, but the chance is reduced greatly because of the distractions. So if you can remain aloof from all these unnecessary distractions, and if you can stay focused, there is no harm in the Grihastha ashram. All ashrams are for spiritual advancement only. Right? So if it is not an ashram, then it becomes a complete shrama. All useless labor, so much unnecessary. In most cases, it happens like that. That's why there's a quote, right? 75% of your chance of going back to Godhead is lost. So still there is some hope, no? 25% is there. So water it, make it bigger. Maybe 25 will grow to 30, 30 will grow to 31. But it's more difficult. Definitely more difficult, unnecessary distraction, because brahmachari life means very simple. So actually one should not, like we were discussing just now, you should not stay in that family life until the point of death. hoping to see grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren and die. Give your name to that great-great-grandchildren and die. Not like that. At one point, this was known to everybody. Right? Even the Pandavas also, they had no more interest in carrying forward the kingdom, but they just had to wait for a successor. As soon as they found, okay, Parikshit now is old enough, mature enough to take charge, immediately they are eagerly looking forward to hand it over and go. So that should be the mood. So similarly, even in family life, at one point you should just give up. Okay, done. Already seen all those things, everything done. Now again, practice, focus on spiritual life.
Instead of listening, there's more and more reason.
Yeah. So yeah, all these Mahajanas, they are Mahajanas for a reason, no? They are not at all attached to family life or anything. They are also showing us by example, because majority of them would actually end up in, like I was saying earlier, in family life only. I mean, the proportion, if you see, brahmacharis to grihasthas are more, no? Here you can count, on one hand you can count 1, 2, 3. 3. So, of course, we hope and pray that the orange color doesn't fade, especially in the, please do not use any bleach. So we need more and more brahmacharis. Otherwise, the future of the movement, of course, we are already getting next. Of course, brahmachari means some standards are there, not simply putting up hand for fun. Follow standards also, no? Strictly, nicely. Every day, Mangalarti from today onwards. Both brahmacharis who put up the hand. Brahmachari, Mangalarti every day from today onwards. Put down. Starting with that, Mangalarti every day. Both hands up after that. Okay, not only one hand. Alright, it's getting very early and very late. We'll stop here today. Very early, very late. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.